I lived in Florida for 20 years. I was a professor at University of Florida for 2 or 3 years, whatever it was. I was a student there for 5 or 6 years. I worked in the industry there for, I don't know, 10 years or something, whatever it was. And so I know Florida fairly well. And it's a quagmire in terms of fertilizer. Okay, the lawn fertilizer rules are put in place on emotions, not on logic, not on science. The elected officials, I'm not going to get into the whole thing right now, but they are whatever it is. It is. But we still have to follow the law. Okay, even if the law makes no scientific sense, that's the law. But because it's such a quagmire down there, and there's different, you can go from one part of one county to a different part of the same county and fall under 2 different laws. You can go from county to county and have 2 different laws. The state has their own umbrella sort of a law. Okay, there's all sorts of stuff, and the challenge is, how do you know what you're supposed to be applying when you literally can apply one fertilizer to one side of a lawn, one side of the street, and on the opposite side of the street, it's illegal. Okay, that's how messed up it is down there. It's just a big mess. How do you know what you're supposed to do? How do you know when you're supposed to apply it, where you're supposed to apply it, when you can and can't apply it? It's just a big mess. So this is what I recommend people. This is where to start. And then I'm going to show you a very easy, if you're in Florida, very, very simple and easy way to know wherever you are in the state, what fertilizer rules and laws apply to you. Okay, let's get to, I think I can go to the internet here. Okay, so if you go to the internet, you can search in Florida urban turf rule or Florida fertilizer law, and it's going to come up this rule 5E-1.003. And this is the law, this is the state law for Florida in terms of fertilizers, okay? And you can read down through here all the different derivations and all the changes and things that have happened. But this is the most current one that occurred in January 8th of 2015. You're going to click on this view rule here, and it's going to pop up a Word file, okay? This Word file is the Florida law, okay? And you're going to read through here. If you're looking to find out, is it legal to apply this, or is it legal to apply that, or what's the Florida law? You're going to read through here, and it's all here. It's on the labeling and so forth. And when you read down through here, it's going to have definitions like urban turf and lawns and exactly what they mean. It's all legal jargon. No phosphate fertilizer means any fertilizer product with less than 0.05%. Low phosphate fertilizer means fertilizer products intended for new or established urban turf or lawns with phosphate levels equal to or above 0.5%. Fertilizers labeled as low phosphate fertilizers, which again, remember, that's any fertilizer that goes to home lawns that has greater than 0.5% phosphorus in it. Okay? Fertilizers labeled as low phosphate shall have use directions that do not exceed an application of 1/4 pound of P2O5 per 1,000 square feet, and not to exceed 0.5 pound of P2O5 per 1,000 square feet per year. So no matter where you're at in Florida, if you're going to apply, except for establishment, there's a separate amount you can apply when you're establishing new turf. But if it's for an established lawn, okay, an established turf, urban turf, there's no place in Florida that you can apply more than 1/4 pound of phosphorus per application. And there's no place in Florida you can apply more than 0.5 pound of phosphorus in a single year. Okay? So that's the maximum app rate and annual rate for phosphorus. And that is statewide. Okay. Now, when you go into different counties, there's more restrictions. But this is how you'd find the state information that would apply to everybody in the state. Okay. So don't forget, if you want to know where it is, it's 5E-1. You can go to, you can just go to the internet and just Google Rule 5E-1 Florida fertilizer labels or something, and it'll pop right up. Okay? So now let's just say, hypothetically, let's just say you're in a county. And let's just say, hypothetically, you're in Manatee County, which is Bradenton Parish, Florida. And you go, well, okay, the law says I can't apply phosphorus more than 1/4 pound or 0.5 pound per year. But I'm in Manatee County. We have different rules here. We have more restrictive rules than the state rule. How do I know what the rule is where I live? You can do it the hard way, which if you want to do it this way, it's fine. You can go to the internet and you can Google it, and you can Google Manatee County and fertilizer, applications or fertilizer law, and you'll eventually come to this. This is the Manatee County website for landscape maintenance and fertilizer regulations. And you can scroll down through here and you can read all the definitions, just like the previous law said. You can go down through here and Now, when we get down here, it's going to say this. Under section 2-14-65, it says fertilizer content and application rate. It's going to go through there and it's going to explain the nitrogen application rate. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the phosphorus application rate, but it's mandated by the state. Okay. But look at section B. No fertilizer containing phosphorus shall be applied to turf and or landscape plants in the county, except where phosphorus deficiency has been demonstrated in the soil underlying the turf and or landscape plants by a soil analysis test performed by a state of Florida certified laboratory. Any person who obtains a soil analysis test showing phosphorus deficiency and who wishes to apply phosphorus to turf and or landscape plants shall provide a copy of the test result to the county administrator prior to the application of phosphorus. So let's just say hypothetically you're in Manatee County, and let's just say you want to apply milorganite. Can you apply it? That's the question. The answer is yes, you can apply it. If your soil test shows you're deficient in phosphorus, and if you notify the county before you apply it, you can apply it. But if you don't have a soil phosphorus deficiency and you don't notify the county, then you can't apply any phosphorus. All right. If you choose to apply milorganite, you're still restricted by the state rate. You can't go out there and apply 12.8 pounds per thousand. Okay. State rate mandates you apply half that. Now, this is all legal jargon and very difficult to find. It's not easy. You got to track your way through a bunch of stuff. You got to read through all this jargon, and it's just a mess sometimes. What do I recommend? Well, if you go to Google and you just Google Florida or Urban Turf Rule app, or say Florida Fertilizer Rule app, or IFAS Fertilizer Rule app, there's an application website that'll pop up. And it looks a lot like this. Okay? So anywhere in the state of Florida, this has the entire state of Florida map on it. Anything in orange has a county ordinance. Anything in this blue or teal color has a municipality ordinance. Anything in gray has no ordinance. And all you got to do is click on any county and it'll pull up. Now, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, let's just look at Manatee County, which is right here. We just go to Manatee County and we click on it. Let's just put it like, maybe, let's just say, hypothetically, put it right there between Parrish and Bradenton, Florida. There it is. Now, over on the right-hand side, you're going to see fertilizer ordinance, a little window pop up. And it's going to say restricted periods, weather, saturation, and phosphorus. You click on phosphorus and it says 0 phosphorus without a soil test demonstrating deficiency provided to the county administrator prior to the application. Exactly like the law just said. The law just said that's exactly the verbiage from the law. So you can go anywhere in the state of Florida and it has slow release nitrogen rates that greater than 50%, greater than 70%, whatever the law is for that particular location. The dates of the restrictions, all the stuff. Okay. You can go to any location in Florida and you can find out exactly what restrictions apply to you regarding fertilizer that you apply to your lawn. Now we're going to go to a little video. This video comes from a website or a YouTube channel called The Lawn Care Nut. And this video is called, "This is the Right Way to Apply Milorganite." And I'll say this is a very good video about the wrong way to apply milorganite in Manatee County, Florida. Let's see what The Lawn Care Nut has to say about applying Milorganite.
What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another weekend vlog. Today we're gonna go way back, and we're gonna talk about my old buddy Milo and dig into a little bit of the math and then calibrate an old Scott spreader.
Okay, so that's a very good introduction. He's going to talk about Milorganite. He's going to calibrate a spreader. We're going to skip ahead to 124.
0.5%. I still use Milorganite twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. And for me, it's more of an organic soil enhancement. I do like the fact that it's got some nitrogen and some iron in it, but for me, it's really about putting organic material into my soil. That's really what I like this for most. And
now, I just showed you the state law, showed you the Manatee County law. No Milorganite can be applied in the entire county of Manatee County anytime, unless you're phosphorus deficient and unless you've notified the Manatee County code enforcement officer, Paul Panic. I spoke to Paul and I said, can you send me a record of the people who have asked for that phosphorus deficiency? And he said, I haven't received one in the last 10 years. No one's sending anything saying they're deficient in phosphorus in the last 10 years. Let's continue.
now we come right back down in here, and what do you see on the bag right there? Covers up to 2,500 square feet. See, that's within our standard, thousands of square feet. So let's memorize that first thing, that a bag of Milo covers 2,500 square feet.
Not in Florida. Look, see what this says right next to it. What does that say right below covers to 2,500 square feet? It says Florida, 5,200 square feet. Okay? For those of you who don't know, the Lawn Care Nut lives between Bradenton, Florida and Parrish, Florida. This bag does not cover 2,500 square feet in Florida. Anywhere in the state of Florida. Doesn't matter what county you're in. It covers 5,200 square feet, just like is labeled on the bag. Okay, we continue.
And now that we know that, now we want to find out how much does this bag weigh, so we can find out what I call our pounds on the ground. And you can see this bag weighs 32 pounds. So I've got 2,500 square feet of coverage and 32 pounds. Let's do a little bit of math, and this is where it gets really fun. 32, and we're going to divide that by 2.5. because this covers 2.5 or 2.5 1,000 square foot sections.
Not in Florida. Not in Florida. And probably not in a lot of the other parts of the United States where there's phosphorus restrictions. Okay? Having said that, you can recommend whatever you want on YouTube. Recommend away. No law against that. It's up to the applicator to follow the law. Let's continue.
2,500 square feet is 2.5 1,000 square foot sections. Remember I said our standard is 1,000 square feet. So 32 pound bag divided by 2.5 1,000 square feet sections, or 2,500 square feet. What that comes out to is 12.8. So that is called our rate. And that means we are to put down 12.8 pounds per 1,000 square feet.
Not in Florida.
So that is called our bag rate, or our application rate. 12.8 pounds of Milorganite across every 1,000 square foot section of the lawn. That's what we just figured out there. Now,
so we're going to skip ahead just for one little bit more minute, and then we'll be done. He can recommend whatever he wants to recommend. No law against that. If you're going to go out and apply it, there's a law against that. Let's see what happens.
Of this video here very soon. So remember that 1,000 square foot area over there? My job is to confirm that I'm going to get 12.8 pounds of product spread evenly across this 1,000 square foot area using my spreader at the recommended spreader setting. You see, I'm going to test on a 1,000 square foot area. That way, if the setting is off, I'm not risking an entire bag here. I'm just testing on one small area that I can control.
Now, he's right about that. You want to do it on 1,000 square feet to test it. He goes on and actually videotapes himself spreading this fertilizer on his lawn in Florida. So what I would say is if you're in Florida and you listen to this guy's recommendation and you go out and you apply it at this rate, 12.8 pounds per thousand, you're breaking the law. Anywhere in the state of Florida on home lawns, you will break the law. There is a Florida label on the rate on that label, which is half that. Okay. You can apply that at the half the rate, but again, you can only apply it at half that rate in locations where there's not a specific phosphorus restriction. In Manatee County, there is a phosphorus restriction. You can't apply any phosphorus, period, until you get a soil test and it shows that it's deficient. And you send that soil test to the officer and let him know before you do the application. But please do your best, do your due diligence to, apply the products within the law. And we need to do our best to follow that. And if you follow this particular gentleman's recommendation, you would be breaking the law.